Hello, welcome to the Met Office 10-day trend. Meteorologically, we're slap bang in the middle of winter, so you might expect it to be cold. But the cold theme is going to continue, and I'm talking about below average temperatures here. Now, it won't be cold throughout. There will be brief, milder spells trying to push in, and it's where the milder weather, bringing moisture, clashes with the colder conditions that we're most likely to see some sleet and snowfall. And that threat of snowfall continues well into next week. In the short term, heavy snow is expected across parts of northern Britain during Thursday. We have yellow and an amber warning in force across parts of northern England and Scotland. In this amber zone here, 5 to 10 centimetres of snow, even to low levels. That could cause some serious travel disruption, may even cut off communities and cause some power issues as well. That snow building up then through Wednesday night and continuing into Thursday morning before it fizzles out. But the snow risk does also on Thursday push a little further south. We could see some as far south as the Midlands, at least for a time. This line of wet weather, rain and snow mixed in, is part of a weather system that's sliding away down towards France and fizzling out during Thursday, leaving things dry for Friday, but also leaving behind a legacy of cold air, especially across the east. A very frosty start for parts of eastern England in particular on Friday. Temperatures could be down to -4 or -5. Could be some freezing fog around too. But it's high pressure that moves in place for Friday, so Friday is looking like a dry day for most places. However, into the weekend, more weather systems come in off the Atlantic and hit that cold air, so almost a repeat performance of Thursday's weather. As that wet weather hits the cold air again, we're going to see some sleet and snow. And the Met Office have issued a yellow warning for Saturday across parts of northern Britain. Again, the potential for some heavy snow, at least for a time. Before that system then slinks away and another area of high pressure moves in for Sunday. So the weather's kind of flip-flopping. Dry for most on Friday, then into the weekend. It's wet and windy on Saturday. Rain for many, but the potential for some heavy snow in the east before things turn dry and bright once more for Sunday. We see another change as we go into Monday. Another weather system then coming in off the Atlantic, so the high pressure doesn't stick around long. The cold air still in place across northern Britain, so with the weather fronts moving in here, there is again the potential for some snow, but this weather system bringing more broadly milder air across the UK on Monday. And the isobars fairly close together as well, so it's going to be windy with a spell of wet weather too. And as I say, where these weather fronts hit the cold air, there could again be some snowfall. What happens beyond that? Well, this area of low pressure that these weather fronts are tied into becomes the dominant feature as we go into next week, but the exact position of that low will be critical for the type of weather we see. Let's take a look at the jet stream high up in the atmosphere. These strong winds and these pink suggesting where the core of the winds are likely to be. It's a bit of a mess, basically. A strong element of the jet coming out of North America to the mid-Atlantic, but it's this arch up to the north that we're most interested in, because this is what we call an amplification of the jet stream. And when we get these amplification, it means the jet stream kind of moves up and down more, and weather patterns certainly tend to become slow moving. And that's what we're expecting as we go into next week, this amplification of the jet stream, and the position of which, as it drifts its way north up towards Greenland and then drives south just to the south of the UK, that will allow the setup for that low pressure system just to sit around close to the UK. At the moment, it looks most likely like it'll be over the UK or to the east. And if this happens, well, with low pressure sitting here, the winds flow around low pressure like this, so we'll continue to draw into the cold air that's sitting across Scandinavia. And with a northerly flow or a northeasterly flow, that means the potential for snow into next week remains pretty high. Now, if you watched last week's 10-day trend, or indeed the one before it, we were talking about sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW, and that potentially having an impact on our weather towards the middle and latter part of January. So what is going on high up in the atmosphere? Well, sudden stratospheric warming, the warming has happened. That happened over a week ago. So we saw the warming, but the polar vortex didn't completely reverse. It weakened a lot and it remains weak. And the signal for the rest of January is for the polar vortex to remain weak or less strong than average. So that is likely to continue to have a knock-on effect and mean our jet stream is likely going to be weaker than average for the rest of January as well. But that doesn't necessarily mean we're definitely going to get easterly winds. As we've seen, the most likely setup is that we'll have north or northeasterly winds through the middle part of next week. But equally, with a weaker jet stream, that does increase the uncertainty. And just a little shift in the jet stream, be it that same pattern amplified but a little bit further west, or a weaker but more zonal jet stream, could allow that low pressure system close to the UK to sit a bit further west or southwest. And in this scenario, instead of the northerly winds, what we'd have then is a southwesterly flow. That would bring milder air from the Atlantic and so greatly reduce the potential for snowfall. Now, I say at the moment, this is less likely to happen. The more likely scenario is those cold conditions persist, continuing with a snow threat. For details about snowfall next week, well, you'll have to stay up to date for that. And of course, with the snow in the forecast for the next few days, make sure you keep across those weather warnings as well. Best way to do that is through the Met Office app, website, or of course follow us on social media.